Yeah, that was a quick block. I mean, that, you know, you never know with this. I thought with the background noise, I don't know if it was money or tabloid junkie. It's a good question. We played money for longer, but all right, no music. We'll have to sing. Oh boy, a cappella, yeah. All right. So for those just tuning in, all right. So I was just in the courtroom. Know exactly where we have to go. Talk to the security. Talk to the bailiff. Talk to another clerk of the court. Got all the information. Should be a go for tomorrow morning. I'm gonna log on at 6 in the morning. I got the parking lot. I got the parking lot guy attended to come in an hour early tomorrow, so I could park the car and get out and walk. I'm not going to be able to bring my phone holder in, so I'm just going to have to hold it like this, which we can't film inside anyway, so it's not a big deal. I'll be parked kind of close by, and yeah, so yeah, no phone holder. I got a list of what I can bring, what I can't bring, what I can wear, what I can't wear. I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten from people, you know, don't, oh, okay, so here, hey, Big Al, so here, let me, I was going to save this for tomorrow, but no, they don't take your phone away. You're just not allowed to have electronics in the courtroom. I asked about a tablet, which I don't even have anyway, but so it's just me and shorthand. No, hey, Big Al, I mean, oh, here, look at that. So yeah, hey, you guys, look. All right, no, I have to be nice because people are watching. Okay, so people are watching. We'll talk about more of this at Forest Lawn, okay? But just tomorrow, 6 in the morning, we're going to log on live. I'm going to do a little recap of why we're here. I was just thinking about this. A lot of you people weren't even born when this whole nightmare first started. So we're just gonna kind of recap it. I'm gonna have a moderator on the chat. We can't, you know, we have to watch the language. No cursing, no nothing. So the two people in question, okay, from now on I'm going to refer to them as the actors, okay? The person that made the movie, we're going to call it. So the three of them are going, the two of them are going to be referred to the actors. The three of them are going to be referred to the actors in the cable movie, okay? The actors in the cable movie. So you know who we're talking about. You got to read between the lines, okay? We'll do it in the morning, okay? But yeah, look, for those that are older, know where this all started. For those that are younger, you just have no idea. So sometimes you notice in the Michael community, there's a, I don't want to say a divide, but people kind of look at it differently. To those, you know, the people like Big Al that were there and literally lived it, okay? And then us older, the ones that weren't there but had to go through it. So you're going to look at it a little different than if you didn't live through it. I'm going to hear some things. Yeah, the actors in the cable movie. No. Yeah, the actors in the cable movie. The actors. A teen when the court stuff. Some of you weren't even teens. If you go back to the original, you know, 92, 93, right? So how many people are 31? If you're not 31, you weren't here from the start. So, all right, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. So 6 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to start. The court actually opens at 8. So I can't get in before 8. But I know, you know, I don't know how many people are coming. I don't know if there's media here in the beginning, if there's media here at the end. I don't know if the actors are going to be here. I don't know if the cable movie guy is going to be here. So not really sure. I kind of found the back entrance, but there's a real good chance that the court case is not going to take place here. So They haven't ruled on the motion yet. There was some. I shouldn't say. All right, they're going to rule. They're going to rule on a bunch of things tomorrow. Yeah, let's just leave it at that for now. Yeah, that was all I was kind of able to find out. But I know where to go. I know where to sit. I know what to wear. I know what to bring. I know where to park. So that's all good. I don't think it's going to be that long. I mean, I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it's going to be that long. But who knows? It'd be fun. It'd be fun just to see Tom Mesereau walk in the courthouse. Would be fun, right? One of the true heroes. Susan, you know, the whole defense team. So you'll have to tune in tomorrow, Laura, to see what I'm wearing. Yeah, this should. I mean, this really should be it. Like, this is the appeal of the reversal of the, you know. But we'll talk about it tomorrow. So, does anyone have anything while I'm here? I'm going to head over to Forest Lawn. Oh yeah, Sherry. Look, all I can say is I've done all my research. Okay, so I'm pretty caught up on the facts. We're going to try to keep this. I'm going to write down as much as fast as I can write. I'm not good at shorthand, but you know, the main points. The main points you guys will hear. The minute you kind of walk in and out the same place right here. You have to walk through the, you know, you have. Hang on a second. Let me just confirm with my new buddy here. I'm just gonna have to put the phone down for a second. Okay, my friend. See you tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow morning. Red Explorer. Red Explorer.
Yeah, usually sometimes coming over here, do something inside, come back by like 7:15, so it's okay.
And if I get here early, like 6 or 6:30, is there?
You will stay over here. When I see you, I open.
So just stay right here, or no?
But you stay the stand, leaving the car over there, you stand over here. When I see you, I open for you.
You can park over here, or
yeah.
The residence. I mean, like at 6 in the morning, nobody's here.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay,
Thank you, my friend.
Bye-bye.
Always make friend with the parking people. All right, so 6 a.m. Pacific time, like wherever you are right now, 6 hours ago, whatever time that would be. California at 6, on the East Coast it's 9. In Europe it'll be 3 in the afternoon or 2 in the afternoon. And you just go right here. The camera people are usually right here, if there's any. So this is the sidewalk, and then I kind of parked at a different place for today just to make sure. But yeah, I mean, right there's the main entrance, and we're ready to go. Now don't forget, once again, tomorrow is they're just setting the date. Okay, they're just setting the date of the trial. There's no testimony. I don't expect the actors will even be here. So I wouldn't think they would come, but look, anything's possible. I really don't know. Oh, Big Al, hey. Big Al, call me tonight if you have time. I'll tell you something funny. Where did I go here? Okay, yeah. Yeah, so here's the police station right here. So, Big Al, if you have to come get me, I'll be at that corner of Burton and Rexford. Burton and Rexford, Big Al. Yeah, this is see, hang on a second. That guy was following me. Hold on. This guy's following me, you guys? What do you think? Can you see? Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, so there's a library, a police station, city hall type of place. But hey, look, there's a chance. I mean, there's a chance. I mean, they just requested a change of venue, so I don't know if I don't know if that's automatically granted or not. You don't see how they have a case. Yeah, well, Sherry, have no fear. That's all I can say. Have no fear. Don't worry. Do not worry. Everything's under control. Now, Big Al's going to laugh. The hardest thing for me is to remember where I parked. Let's see. Hopefully I don't lose you in the elevator. If I do, just hang on a second. 2, 3. I did take a picture. Yeah, I learned that the hard way in California one day. Oh my God, down by the Walk of Fame.
Level 3.
Level 3. Okay. We're level 3. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay. Yeah, this is a crazy parking though. Oh my God. All right, hang on. I'm going to put the phone in the, see if I could put the phone in the phone holder. All right, so we're off the forest lawn. Hang on one second. Let's see. You know what we're ready for. You know what this is all about. All right. Let's see if we don't lose the feed if I put it in here. All right, you guys, hang on 1 second. Okay, now, hold on a minute. The GPS is always funny. It's only about 10 miles.
Turn right onto North Rexford Drive.
42 minutes to go 10 miles. Unbelievable.
In 300 feet, turn right onto North Santa Monica Boulevard.
All right. Yeah, tomorrow, I mean, it probably shouldn't even take an hour, honestly. But we'll see.
Head southwest toward North Rexford Drive, then turn right onto North Rexford Drive.
This will be funny. Hold on. I'll switch the phone once I... This is like an old, tight parking lot. Look at these exits. Oh my God. This car's too big. Sandy, no. No. I mean, the California Supreme Court's already heard it. So, I don't want to say this is it, but, you know, this is it. Oh my God. All right, so we're gonna head over to Forest Lawn. I think I saw Betsy. I don't know if Betsy's out there. I saw her name earlier. Betsy went and brought flowers yesterday. Our flowers from Valentine's Day, and a little tribute for Melanie Freeman was still there in the back. The front Valentine's Day, everything was gone. So Betsy was nice enough to bring something that she left in the front. I'm going to see if our stuff's in the back. Can you guys hear me with the window open, or hold on, let me put the window. Okay. Just cut in front of me, don't worry about it. That's... All right. Yeah, for those just tuning in, so we're on for tomorrow morning. I got all the rules of what to do, what not to do, where to sit, where to park. Okay. Yeah, hang on, let me just get out of here. Okay. All right. Where am I here? Rexford to Santa Monica Boulevard.
Turn right onto North Rexford Drive, then turn right onto North Santa Monica Boulevard.
It's pretty much Santa Monica almost all the way down to Glendale.
At the light, turn right onto North Santa Monica Boulevard.
The good news, it's only 9.9 miles away. The bad news, it takes you 41 minutes. Unbelievable. You guys want me to talk? I got a little video I was going to play for
Santa Monica Boulevard.
tomorrow.
Continue on North Santa Monica Boulevard for 7 miles.
Let me just try this. For those that... I got a whole playlist. I got videos lined up. We'll do like a couple hours in the car, and I'll be the first one in the courthouse. I know where to go, so let's hear listen to the man himself. This is Tom Mesereau's first interview about the two actors, and what did I say? What was I going to call it? Oh my God. And the fictional cable movie. Okay? Tell me if you can hear it.
I'm here with Tom Mesereau, the famed defense attorney for Michael Jackson from his 2005 criminal trial, to talk about the Leaving Neverland movie on HBO. Tom, thanks so much for joining us.
Can you guys hear that?
Thanks
Is it
for
too
inviting
loud?
me. Always a pleasure.
It's
Is
always
it
great
too
to
loud?
talk to you. And one of the things I want to talk about first is there's this notion that Dan Reed, the director of...
GPS signal lost.
There's this Jackson machine ready to destroy anyone who dares...
You can hear it good? Okay.
He testified and called all three as witnesses. They were among the most powerful witnesses in support of Michael Jackson. Mr. Robson was a very articulate, likable, intelligent, seemed like a nice person. He was adamant that Michael Jackson had never done anything improper towards him at any time. The mother and sister backed him up. They had traveled with Wade and Michael Jackson. They had slept in Michael Jackson's bed. They said nothing improper ever happened, and they were so strongly in favor of Michael Jackson, so strongly against the prosecution of Michael Jackson, that I made them all star witnesses for the defense. So I interviewed them, I chatted with them at length, then I called them as witnesses, they testified under oath. I only know my portion of this, and that is that these people were adamant that nothing improper had ever happened.
Well, let's take a closer look at that, because to believe the narrative in Leaving Neverland, especially with regard to Wade Robson, you have to believe that you, Tom Mesereau, are a moron, essentially, because you took a guy who had been abused for 7 years by your client and made him and his family the centerpiece of your defense. Are you not personally offended by that?
Well, it was more than that. You know, I had to think long and hard about whether we needed to put on a defense case at all. You know, in American criminal courtrooms, the prosecution must prove their case beyond any reasonable doubt. And that means they must prove every element of a charged offense beyond any reasonable doubt. I had so many effective cross-examinations during the prosecution's case that I had to think long and hard about whether we needed to put on a defense. We could have rested right there and not called a single witness. But I concluded that we would probably have gotten a hung jury at that point, that we had to tell our own story. And we needed our
Once
own
again, this
witnesses
is
in support
Tom
of Michael,
Mesereau
and we had
talking
a
about
lot
the
of them
actors
that were very powerful
and the
witnesses.
fictional cable
So I
movie.
elected to put on a defense. When a defense lawyer in a criminal case elects to put on a defense, you typically want to start strong and end strong. And I started with a very strong witness, Wade Robson. I ended with also a very strong witness, Chris Tucker. And I wouldn't have called this person as my first witness if I hadn't felt he was really strong and would start off the defense case in a very compelling manner. And he did. He testified emphatically that he had not been abused, improperly touched in any way. He was subjected to a very strong, powerful cross-examination by Ron Zonin, an excellent prosecutor for the Santa Barbara County District Attorney's Office. He withstood that cross-examination. His mother and sister were in a similar position. I called them early in the defense case. They were powerful witnesses for Michael Jackson. Powerful in their statements that nothing improper had happened as far as they knew.
This is right after the cable movie came out.
So I started our defense case very strong with one of the most
2017,
powerful
2018.
witnesses I had seen in favor of Michael Jackson, and that was Mr. Wade Robson.
And what you just said there is really important, because the whole essence of Wade Robson's current story in Leaving Neverland is that he's not claiming repressed memories suddenly hit him in his 30s, that he was abused by Michael Jackson. He's claiming that he didn't understand what had happened was quote-unquote sexual abuse. But that's not what he was asked at trial. He wasn't asked just, hey, did anything bad ever happen with you and Michael? He was asked very specific questions about physical acts, which he very strongly declared did not happen, correct?
Absolutely. He was very, very powerful in his testimony that nothing, directly or indirectly, that's improper had ever happened to him. He wasn't improperly touched. He wasn't improperly fondled. He wasn't improperly molested. We went through all of this in direct examination, and he was subjected to a powerful cross-examination. And he was a stalwart witness in support of Michael Jackson's innocence. He was one of the strongest I heard. That's why I called him first.
And in making that decision, I'm assuming something here, and I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong. I'm assuming you would consult your client, Michael Jackson, about his experiences with Wade and whether or not he thought it was a good idea to put Wade on the stand. Did that happen?
I mean, obviously, I don't want to go into privileged information, but obviously Michael Jackson knew Wade was going to be my first witness. I obviously told him about that, and he had no problem with that at all. I mean, Wade was a strong, powerful supporter of Michael Jackson and maintained that he had been to Neverland, he had associated with Michael, he had traveled with Michael, and nothing improper had ever happened at any time. He was so strong, I mean, I made him our first witness for a reason.
But just to further clarify that, the narrative in Leaving
I just want to talk over a little
Michael
bit so we don't
Jackson
get lost.
is a criminal mastermind.
Okay.
And I look at that and wait, well, hold on a second. If a criminal you can't have him be a criminal mastermind and also have him allow you to put a guy he abused for 7 years on the stand first, right? I mean, those are contradictory narratives, are they not?
That would be a version of insanity. and that's not what I did.
Right.
I was there to win. I was there to win for an innocent person, and the jury saw it our way for many, many reasons.
Now, continuing with Wade's claim that what his testimony was about, I don't even know if you're aware, but in both of his lawsuit and in Leaving Neverland, Wade specifically claims he received a subpoena to testify in the 2005 trial, as if he did so against his own wishes, like he was forced to testify. Does that shock you to hear that allegation by Wade Robson?
It does shock me. Now, typically in a criminal case, if we need a witness, we will typically ask the witness, do you want a subpoena or not? Some people do because they have employment responsibilities. They want to be able to tell their employer, I have a subpoena, I have to testify. And very often they don't need a subpoena. And my understanding of Wade Robson was he didn't need a subpoena at all. He and his mother and sister all came to Neverland ready to voluntarily support Michael Jackson in and outside the courtroom. And that's what they did.
So, the best of your knowledge, then, Wade is not telling the truth when he claims to have gotten a subpoena to testify.
I don't recall whether anyone handed him a subpoena or not. What I do know is he didn't require one because he was willing to help Michael Jackson at all times. He was willing to be there when needed. That was always my understanding. Whether anyone actually filled out a subpoena and gave him one, or whether he even requested one, I really don't know.
Okay. And let's talk about the rest of his family, too, because his mother is a key figure in this story. She's the one that effectively facilitated the relationship between Wade and Michael Jackson. It is my belief that we have found some information about her on Facebook that discredits her current story, that she was still a fan of Michael Jackson well after Wade comes forward on the Today Show in 2013. What do you recall about her testimony and the testimony of her daughter as well, who you called in 2011?
Well, I just recall that the mother and sister were very supportive of Wade and his testimony in favor of Michael Jackson. As I recall, and I haven't been through their testimony in years, but as I recall, they traveled with Michael and Wade. They were in the bed with Michael and Wade, sometimes sleeping in Michael's huge bed. This notion that he had a normal-sized bed is absurd. We prove that parents, siblings, all would sack out on Michael's bed. It was almost like a communal thing. But my understanding was that they were very supportive of him. They never detected anything improper, never suspected anything improper. That has always been my understanding of what they brought to the table in that trial.
Now, in the bigger picture, what I find really disturbing, and I'm fascinated to hear your view, is that HBO and Dan Reed have taken Wade Robson's story as if it's gospel and just effectively determined that his testimony in 2005, as strong and as specific as it was, is irrelevant. As a lawyer, not just the lawyer of this case, but a lawyer in general who reveres the law and the standards of testimony and under oath and perjury, I find that incredibly insulting and dangerous to the entire system, that once you make your declaration in the public under oath in a criminal trial of that magnitude, you can't go back and change your story.
Well, remember, one of the top sex crimes prosecutors in America, Ron Zonin, and I've never faced a better prosecutor than him. He was really just a passionate, skilled, experienced, determined prosecutor. He subjected Wade Robson to withering cross-examination, and this man knew how to question a sex crimes witness, and he could not shake Wade Robson. Wade Robson stood his ground, maintained his story under all sorts of pressure, and was also adamant, always adamant, that Michael Jackson never improperly touched him.
But isn't it, Tom, dangerous that the media and a major media outlet like HBO and this film, which is being seen worldwide,
you guys just tuned in. This is Tom Mesereau's first interview
under oath doesn't matter.
After the fictional cable movie.
To me, at what point do we reach chaos if that's going to be accepted?
Well, all I know is my slice of life. All I know is the person that I spoke to, the person who I called as a witness, and there's no doubt in my mind he was telling the truth.
It just seems to me, though, that if we accept the notion that your past testimonies, I mean, as a defense lawyer, you know, if someone in before the current era we're living in, if you had someone who testify to something directly contradictory to what they're currently saying, that's game, set, match. That's the ball game, right?
Well, I mean, again, people will change their stories for various reasons, and they will come up with reasons to justify it. I mean, human beings have a great ability to justify to themselves whatever kind of behavior they want. But all I know is I spoke to him for hours. He testified on the stand. It was the most watched trial of my lifetime. You had more accredited media from around the world than O.J. Simpson and Scott Peterson combined. And he was in the spotlight in that courtroom and subjected to withering, persistent, skilled, professional, experienced cross-examination. And he was adamant that Michael Jackson had not improperly treated him.
And he was an adult who was very well versed in what sex was, had been in numerous high-profile romantic relationships. This was not a naive guy.
No, this was someone, in my opinion, very intelligent, very articulate, very perceptive, seemed very likable, and didn't look to me like he was making anything up.
Now let's turn to James Safechuck. I know you didn't interview James Safechuck because James Safechuck had been determined by the judge to not be eligible to testify at the 2005 trial. Yet in Leaving Neverland, he tells a very detailed story that is critical to the narrative that both Michael Jackson and Michael Jackson's attorneys were contacting him into the late stages of the trial, effectively begging him to testify, which he refused to do. That, to me, sounds completely contradictory to what we know as the factual record. How does that sound in comparison to your recollection of the events of 2005?
It makes no sense because the prosecution wanted to bring in witnesses to suggest that Mr. Safechuck was molested. The judge would not let them do that. At that point, the defense had no necessity to bring in Mr. Safechuck. In fact, it would have been insane. If we had called Mr. Safechuck, that would have opened the door for the prosecution to call witnesses they claimed would have testified that he had been molested. So this story doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I know I didn't contact him. Did someone behind my back contact him in a way that made no sense? I can't speak for that, but I know it makes no sense to think the defense was planning to call Mr. Safechuck. It would have been insane.
And it is a fact that Mr. Safechuck had been declared by the judge well before the trial began as off limits, correct?
Well, off limits for the prosecution. Now, if the defense had brought him in as a witness, that would have opened the door for the prosecution in a rebuttal case to call in their witnesses about whether or not Mr. Safechuck had been molested. But it makes no sense for the defense to keep Mr. Safechuck available to call as a witness at that point.
And what about the story of Michael Jackson calling James Safechuck in the middle of the trial, intimidating him and desperately demanding that he testify? Does that sound like the client that you knew?
No, the Michael Jackson I know doesn't intimidate anybody and would not have contacted him and tried to scare him or threaten him. That doesn't make any sense to me.
So you believe that's untrue, based upon your knowledge?
I don't believe Mr. Safechuck was contacted by the defense throughout the trial. I don't believe that, because it was very clear before the trial started that any allegations about Mr. Safechuck were off limits.
Now, one of the things that has actually gotten some fair media coverage and has contradicted the narrative of Leaving Neverland is that over the last several weeks, it has been revealed that a prime location where James Safechuck now claims, many, many years later, that he was molested by Michael Jackson was the famous Neverland train station.
Listen to this one, everybody.
Of the train station. And he claims that in the movie, and in his lawsuit, that his abuse ended in 1992. And we now know that the construction of the train house didn't even begin until late 1993 and didn't finish until somewhere in the middle of 1994. The director, Dan Reed, has claimed that doesn't mean anything because he's just going to extend the date beyond which James Safechuck was actually abused, which then would make him 16 or 17 years old. I have a couple questions about this, but what's your first gut-level reaction to that shift in story as a defense attorney?
Well, I don't believe these accusers. I just don't. I got to know Michael Jackson very closely during that terrible ordeal that he went through in Santa Maria in that courthouse. I got to know him. I sat with him through a 5-month trial. I saw him reacting to some of the most horrific allegations you could have. I mean, people forget just how awful these allegations were. He was being accused of masterminding a criminal conspiracy to commit extortion, to abduct children, to falsely imprison a family. He was being accused of giving a cancer-stricken child alcohol to prepare the child to be molested. I mean, these were horrible allegations.
Unbelievable.
I sat with him throughout that trial. I worked with him before the trial. I saw him after it. There's no doubt in my mind he was not a child molester, he was not a child abuser, and would never hurt a child, period. So when I hear these allegations suddenly popping up years after his death, they make no sense to me. I don't believe them. And my experiences with particularly Mr. Robson suggest to me there's something radically wrong with these accusations.
But, all right, so let's take the train station thing a little bit more specifically. If this were to go to a traditional trial, what would you, Tom Mesereau, as a very experienced and esteemed defense attorney, what would you do with that kind of a shift in story that doesn't just change?
This is before Tom was on the case, this interview.
Oprah Winfrey tried to pretend that this was a minor mismemory. This totally changes the timeline. It changes when he was abused, how old he was. Supposedly, Michael Jackson stopped being interested in these boys when they hit puberty, but now James Safechuck is a very old, mature, and tall 16, 17-year-old. What would you do if you were cross-examining James Safechuck?
Well, it would be a defense lawyer's dream. I don't know if you remember during the Michael Jackson criminal trial, one of the accusers said that he had been shown a particular magazine as a grooming process. And we proved that the magazine had been published long after this person left Neverland. Evidence like that can be devastating.
That was Tom
If Mr. Safechuck said he was molested in that train station and the station hadn't even been built, that could be devastating evidence for a jury in judging credibility.
Now, I know you're not involved in any of these cases directly, but what do you make of what the estate is doing in trying to come to a way to adjudicate these claims? Obviously, with Michael Jackson dead, there's no such thing as defamation against a dead person. What is your evaluation
that's the problem right
what
there.
the options are and how the estate is proceeding legally to try to clear Michael Jackson's name here?
Well, I'm not involved in any of the civil suits by Mr. Robson and Mr. Safechuck. I have not participated in any of the court hearings. I've not reviewed any
Once
of the
again,
documents.
this is years ago, everybody, before Tom was added to the
I don't know what people have said or not said in the course of the lawsuit, so I can't really speak directly on that issue. My perception at a distance is that the estate is being very, very aggressive and very effective in trying to protect the name and the likeness and the image and the reputation of Michael Jackson. I'm actually very impressed with the aggressive approach they've taken, and I hope they continue it, because these accusations are scurrilous. I've not seen the film, Leaving Neverland. My understanding is they don't ever talk to anyone on the other side. They basically accept Mr. Robson and Mr. Safechuck's accusations. And remember, we're talking years after accusations like this were made. We're talking about people who would have had plenty of time to look at the details very closely of what accusations other people have made. And if you're going to either intentionally or unintentionally pattern yourself after prior allegations, there would be plenty of time and plenty of information available for one to study, if that's what you're doing. I don't know whether these people really believe what they're saying or not. I mean, the longer I walk through life, the more I realize human beings have a way of convincing themselves that what they're saying is true, even if it looks ridiculous. So they may actually believe what they're saying is true. I don't know, but I certainly don't.
You mentioned that Leaving Neverland doesn't give any of the other side, which is 100% accurate. The most glaring witness in this whole thing that they omit totally from even being mentioned is Brandy Jackson, the niece of Michael Jackson, who dated Wade Robson for 8 years, including 2 years during which Wade now claims he was abused by Michael Jackson. Brandy is sure that Wade is not telling the truth, and she knew him exceedingly well. If in a prosecution case, Wade Robson had testified without ever mentioning Brandy Jackson, and you as a defense attorney was able to show the jury, hey, you never got told about a Brandy Jackson, here she is, and here's her story. How do you think that would impact a jury's view of a story like this?
Well, I don't know what he allegedly told Mrs. Jackson. I'm really not knowledgeable about that relationship. I believe what she's saying. I believe he never raised the issue because it never happened. But I'm not a witness to any of this. I just know I looked this person in the eye, and I chatted with him extensively, and his mother and sister were sitting right there too. And I believe he told the truth in the trial. I believe he told the truth to me. And the new stories, the new versions make no sense to me whatsoever.
Talk to me about the media.
Sat with him through a 5-month trial. I saw him reacting to some of the most horrific allegations you can
Did we hear
have.
this already? Wait a minute.
Forget just how awful these allegations were. He was being... These people really believe what they're saying. I mean, the longer I walk through life, the more I realize human beings have a way of...
Yeah, we're on our way to Forest Lawn.
What they're saying is true.
We're going to do the flowers for Michael. We're just listening to Tom Mesereau interview from about, I think, 5-6 years ago.
You mentioned that Leaving Neverland doesn't give any of the other side, which is 100% accurate. The most glaring witness in this whole thing that they omit totally from even being mentioned is Brandy Jackson, the niece of Michael Jackson, who dated Wade Robson for 8 years, including 2 years during which Wade now claims he was abused by Michael Jackson. Brandy is sure that Wade is not telling the truth, and she knew him exceedingly well. If, in a prosecution case, Wade Robson had testified without ever mentioning Brandy Jackson, and you as a defense attorney was able to show the jury, hey, you never got told about a Brandy Jackson. Here she is, and here's her story. How do you think that would impact a jury's view of a story like this?
Well, I don't know what he allegedly told Mrs. Jackson. I'm really not knowledgeable about that relationship. I believe what she's saying. I believe he never raised the issue because it never happened. But I'm not a witness to any of this. I just know I looked this person in the eye, and I chatted with him extensively, and his mother and sister were sitting right there too. And I believe he told the truth in the trial. I believe he told the truth to me. And the new stories, the new versions make no sense to me whatsoever.
Talk to me about the media. I know that you have been very critical of the way the media has treated Michael Jackson in general, and specifically how they responded to the 2005 verdict, which they clearly did not like. I was part of that media that was, as a talk show host in Los Angeles, I was surprised by the verdict, but I thought it was legally correct because I did not believe that the prosecution had proven their case. At that point, I was still naive about the facts of all of this, and I thought, well, there must be something there for them to go this far. Now, I've totally changed my mind after getting to know you and researching this after Leaving Neverland. But what is your evaluation of the media just deciding to blindly accept ridiculous allegations that are contradicted by voluminous evidence simply because it fits a narrative that they like?
Well, the media is a business. They're in the business of generating revenue and getting ratings. And that's their number one priority. Their number one priority is not justice or fairness. It's shock value, it's controversy, it's colorful experience. The media wants what business requires, and you can't keep that out of your mind, because if you think they're out for fairness or justice, you're naive. I remember after the Jackson acquittals, I had lunch with Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown, and his family, and he said to me, do you realize you cost the worldwide media billions of dollars when you acquitted him? Because he said the final chapter had to be a conviction, where they hauled him off to jail, where they brought him back for hearings, dressed in an orange jumpsuit and chains, without makeup, without his normal apparel, leading up to perhaps one of the biggest sentencings in American history. This is what the media wanted, and they were denied that when the jury said not guilty 14 times. So I will forever be scarred by that experience. I remember, when we walked into the courtroom set at counsel table, I looked around and I saw all these reporters with big smiles on their faces and a big gleam in their eye. They were so excited by what was going to happen that day. And after the last not guilty, I hugged Michael Jackson and looked, and I could see the disappointment in their faces. The story was over. The final chapter could not be written the way they wanted it to be, and business had suffered because of that. They had to abandon Santa Maria. They had to walk on to some other subject, and it was very disappointing to them. Justice is not their goal. Ratings and revenue are what they want.
Amen to that. Okay, so one more big picture question here. That happened in 2005. We're now in 2019. In between, the cultural rules, largely because of the news media,
so
have
5 years
dramatically
ago,
shifted.
this interview was.
Mostly because of the so-called Me Too movement. I'm curious, in general, and then also in specific with regard to Michael Jackson's case, how impactful has the rules being changed because of Me Too been on how these kinds of cases are evaluated in general? And specifically, do you think you could have gotten an acquittal in 2019 under the same circumstances with Michael Jackson today that you did in 2005?
Well, if you're talking about Michael Jackson, you have to remember how vicious the media was in 2005. I mean, the media worldwide were at best mocking Michael Jackson, at worst calling him one of the world's greatest villains. And the media had already convicted him. The media had already tried him and found him guilty. And the media onslaught to see him go to prison was so effort. I mean, it was, I don't know how to explain it. It never ended. It was a 24-hour cycle. Do I think it would have been harder to acquit him now? I actually don't, because the media pressure then was so bad. I don't think it could have been worse. During the week of jury deliberations, major networks were showing the jail cell he was going to go to. They were talking about what food he would eat, what schedule he would keep, whether he would be on suicide watch. All of it was designed to influence the jury to get a conviction. So in Michael Jackson's case, I don't think it could have been worse. But in terms of other people accused, it's a very, very troubling environment, because Me Too has a lot of good elements to it. I think to flesh out sexual harassment, or worse, sexual assault, the way it's being done, to some extent is very appropriate. The problem is that emotion is now substituting for due process. And if you're accused, before you have the ability to even speak up on your behalf, and before the rules even kick in to give you a fair hearing, you are condemned, you are fired, you are vilified. There's something wrong with that. We've had other movements in American history where emotion and passion replaced due process, replaced fairness. And I'm talking about the Salem witch trials. I'm talking about the anti-communist movement. I'm talking about rounding up Japanese on the eve of World War II. America in its history has had phases where passionate movements take off and due process, fundamental fairness, the Constitution takes second fiddle. And we have to be very careful right now, because some of that's going on.
Tom Mesereau, criminal defense attorney for Michael Jackson in the 2005 criminal trial. Thanks so much for your time. We'll continue this conversation on our podcast, which you can find on April 27, 2019 for more of this.
I mean, thank God for Tom Mesereau, right? Hang on, we got, we're 4 miles away. That's the good news. 14 minutes. I got one more video. Just let me, gotta make this turn here. Okay, let's play this one here. For those just tuning in, I'm heading over to Forest Lawn. We just left the Beverly Hills Courthouse. I'll tell you more when we get to Forest Lawn in a few minutes. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Here's another Tom Mesereau.
Well, and the other witness that you called was Wade Robson.
Yes.
Who ultimately was one of the two people who did Leaving Neverland. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But in this case, Wade Robson took the stand to say that Michael Jackson never did anything improper.
Wade Robson was my first witness. And as I said before, if you're putting on a defense case, you want to start strong, you want to end strong.
This is a different
We started
interview.
with Wade Robson. We ended with Chris Tucker. Macaulay Culkin was our second witness. I met with Wade, I met with his mother, I met with his sister. I called all three of them as witnesses. And Wade was adamant to me that he was never touched, that he was never violated, that these allegations were nonsense. Because remember, they put on some witnesses to say Wade was molested, right? That they saw it. And he was such a strong witness for us, such a strong defender and supporter of Michael Jackson, that I made him our first witness.
GPS signal lost.
Called his mother and his sister, who had traveled with.
Oh my God! Hold on. Sorry about that.
I called him as my witness. He testified under oath he was never touched. And then a very, very good prosecutor, Ron Zonin, terrific prosecutor and a vicious cross-examiner, went after him tooth and nail, and he never budged. He said it's ridiculous. He never did anything like this to me.
Well, like you said,
Words to that effect.
Yeah. Well, like you said, the trial lasted from January to June 2005, and at the end, Michael Jackson was acquitted on all 14 charges.
10 felonies and 4 misdemeanors.
Yeah.
They didn't get him on anything. In fact, just so you know, he was indicted by a grand jury for 10 felony counts. At the end of the trial, as it was going to the jury, the judge said he's going to give the jury some options on the last 4 felony counts. If they acquit him of any of those last 4 felony counts, I'm going to give them the option of convicting him of a misdemeanor. So they had to say guilty or not guilty 14 times. 10 felonies, 4 misdemeanor options. They said not guilty all felonies, not guilty all misdemeanors, not guilty anything.
Sitting next to Michael Jackson, what was his reaction when he heard that news?
You know, he came in the courtroom that day. His cheeks were sunken in. He looked frozen with fear. He just was weakened. You could just see it in his eyes, see it in the way he carried himself. I think he was terrified with fear. I think a lot of people had said to him, the media says you're going to be convicted. I happen to know some people told him he was going to be convicted. And they were trying to cheer him up, that there'll be an appeal and all this. I never said that to him. We went into the courtroom. We sat down. The media was packed in the courtroom and outside the courtroom. In fact, this particular trial had over 2,200 accredited media, which is more accredited media than O.J. Simpson and Scott Peterson combined. That's how big this trial was around the world. So the media is every place. They set up tents everywhere around the courthouse. There was a build-up to the verdict. You know, he had an entourage, some limousines with security, etc. that were on their way to the courthouse. All the major airwaves they were following this caravan of limos to the courthouse. He stops in front of the courthouse. He comes out of the car with his entourage. I meet him there. We go into the courtroom. Courtroom fills up. The judge comes out, asks for silence. He then brings the jurors out. They fill the jury box. The foreman of the jury hands the verdict forms to the bailiff, who hands the verdict forms to the judge, who looks them over and then asks the jurors, this your verdict? The foreman says yes. And then the court clerk,
That's nice.
at the judge's request, reads the verdicts, one count after another. And when the last not guilty came down, I said to Michael, "You're free." And he said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." We hugged. All the defense team hugged. And then we left the courthouse.
Well, you said that the prosecution is a travesty of justice, one of the most mean-spirited attacks on an innocent person in legal history.
That's how I feel about that case.
Yeah.
I think the way the prosecution constructed this case, the way they charged this case, the way they presented the case, was an absolute travesty of justice. It was almost as if, psychologically, because they were going after someone who was innocent, they went overboard trying to demonize and monsterize the defendant. As I've said earlier, how do you possibly charge Michael Jackson like he's a mafia chieftain, masterminding a criminal conspiracy of various individuals to falsely imprison a family and abduct children? How do you even come up with that idea?
Right.
I think they did it because they felt we have to go overboard to have a chance of getting him. And fortunately, they failed.
Can you say how much you were paid to defend him?
No, I can't. That's a private.
I'm sure it was quite a bit, though.
All right, one more. We're almost there. Hold on. Let me see where the heck I'm at. You have to have GPS here because you never know what accident, traffic. All right, merge into Glendale, Cerritos. Okay. All right, 2.5 miles from Forest Lawn. We're going to do something happy, something nice. This one's a little hard to hear. All right, let me wait. I don't want to play any music. I was going to save this one for tomorrow, but all right, in case some of you won't be with us, I'll play the beginning.
We were looking at Exhibit 579.
This is the first actor
the
from
statement
Australia.
that you wrote was, Michael Jackson changed the world, and more personally, my life forever. He is the reason I dance, the reason I make music, and one of the main reasons I believe in the pure goodness of humankind. He's been a close friend of mine for 20 years. His music, his movement, his personal words of inspiration and encouragement, and his unconditional love will live inside of me forever. I will miss him immeasurably, but I know that he is now at peace and enchanting the heavens with a melody and a moonwalk. I love you, Michael. Is that right?
That's what I wrote, yeah. Wade Robson, who met Michael Jackson when he was 5 years old after winning a dance contest in Australia. For decades, he never missed a chance to refer to himself as a close friend of the pop star. Someone who
GPS
was
signal lost.
largely responsible for Robson's successful career as a dancer, choreographer, and stage director. In this
Continue for 1.5 miles.
never before seen publicly, Robson talks about that glowing tribute he wrote to his longtime friend, Michael Jackson, in the days after the pop superstar died.
I love you, Michael. Is that right?
That's what I wrote, yeah. But now Wade Robson is singing a different tune. He and another proven liar, James Safechuck, claim they were sexually abused by Michael Jackson as young boys in a one-sided so-called documentary called Leaving Neverland.
Everybody wanted to meet Michael or be with Michael. And then he likes you.
Critics say Leaving Neverland only has one goal: money. Wade Robson and James Safechuck both swore under oath that Michael Jackson did nothing inappropriate to them. Then, in a failed effort to get rich, they changed their stories to seek a huge, multi-million-dollar monetary payday in lawsuits against Jackson's estate and companies. Their lawsuits against the Jackson estate have been dismissed not once, but twice. Nonetheless, they are pending on appeal, so Robson and Safechuck are still holding out hope for a big jackpot, and hope this one-sided hit piece leads them to their pot of gold.
If there's a potential financial payout of hundreds of millions of dollars, there is an incentive.
That litigation over the last 5 years or so has generated many, many hundreds of pages of legal documents in the form of sworn declarations, deposition transcripts, motions, judgments, etc. And anybody who's been following the case and following those documents as they're published will be aware that there are significant problems with these guys'
How do
stories.
people drive on these roads?
Committing perjury,
Unbelievable.
in his creditors' claim. So
Almost there, you guys. About a mile away.
The two protagonists.
In a quarter mile, merge onto Glendale Boulevard.
Credibility issues.
Skeptical media throughout the world are questioning director Dan Reed's agenda in making the film. They see through the litany of one-sided accusations from two known liars who repeatedly spin a salacious drumbeat of alleged sexual abuse, while offering not one shred of evidence or independent corroboration to support their stories.
Continue for 3/4 of a mile.
Accusers who have admitted lying in the past and changed their stories a number of times. So the entire film rests on their word and nothing else.
Your journalism has been heavily criticized because you didn't include the opposing points of views in the film. Was that a conscious decision from the get-go?
If you're going to be mentioning Michael Jackson, though, don't you have some obligation to get in touch with the people who have his interests, even though he's not here, obviously? Because you're saying and you're repeating some pretty extraordinary things, don't you have an obligation to talk to the family, even if you claim this isn't about him?
Well, what does the family know about this sexual abuse that happened? Do you think they know about the sexual abuse?
But when you're doing it, this is a documentary,
It is,
right?
yeah.
So when you're doing a documentary, don't you have an obligation to at least ask the question? Because you don't know what the answers to questions are until you ask.
Well, we know that the family and the estate and Jackson during his lifetime and his lawyers all denied that any sexual abuse took place. And those views are strongly represented in the film. We give those views a lot of time in the film on screen.
This is a huge payday, potentially, for anyone who can establish they were victims. And I'm not questioning them. I don't know the truth. I'm questioning you as the director because you never went to the Jackson family before you...
We don't make any allegations about the Jackson family. So why would I...
Well, you make an allegation that Michael Jackson's a paedophile.
Yeah, so I make allegations about Michael, but Michael's dead.
He's dead.
And I've put his rebuttals, his denials in the film.
So the devil's advocate would say, well, okay, the guy's dead. He can't respond to this.
Wade Robson and James Safechuck are not dead.
Jackson was accused in 2003 by the Santa Barbara County District Attorney, who some said carried out a personal vendetta against Michael Jackson that lasted for more than a decade.
Well, we haven't ruled anything out.
In 2005, Jackson was declared innocent by a jury in a case involving a boy named Gavin Arvizo, one that CNN legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin called an absolute and complete victory for Michael Jackson and an utter humiliation and defeat for the prosecution. Since Leaving Neverland was released, numerous errors, misrepresentations, omissions, and outright falsehoods have been identified in the film, which relies solely on ever-changing stories of Robson and Safechuck. Leaving Neverland is a film that has been shown to include provable lies, conflicting accounts, contradictions, staged reshoots, faked scenes, reconstructed memories, critical information omitted, manipulated news clips, discredited source material, and key motives ignored. Perhaps the most
in a quarter mile, turn right onto East Cerritos Avenue.
Comes from accuser James Safechuck, who clearly lied in the film by claiming he was sexually abused in the Neverland train station Michael Jackson had built to resemble the one at Disneyland. But there's a big problem with this story. A huge discrepancy in the timeline.
He says that one of the locations where Michael Jackson was abusing him on a daily basis was the Neverland train station, and he vividly describes the interior of the train station. Now, this version of the story that he tells in the TV show places that abuse in the train station in 1988-89. The train station did not even open until 1994.
At the light.
As you correctly say, in his sworn declarations, in his ongoing litigation with the estate, he says that Michael Jackson stopped molesting him when he was around 14 years old in 1992 because he got too old for him. And the whole narrative of this film is that Michael Jackson molests boys, and then when the boys hit puberty and get too old, he then ditches them and moves on to a younger boy. That's the whole narrative that they're selling with this documentary. But when it's revealed that this location where Safechuck is describing his abuse it did not exist when he was the age he said he was, Dan Reed, the director of the documentary, goes onto Twitter and says, well, there's no dispute about when the train station was built, but what's in dispute is the dates of the abuse.
All right.
James Safechuck was abused.
Enough of that for today, you guys. We'll let's do something happy. Let's do something nice for Michael. So here we are, Forest Lawn Cemetery. Black History Month, February 7th. We missed it. I'm going to go to the florist in a minute. First, let me get up there and explain to everybody what we're doing here. It's hot. It always feels hotter for some reason. I was gonna say I feel like I lived here. I'm gonna live here a long time. All right. Let me just grab the phone. Looks like there's a service going on today. There's our fountains. So here's the florist. I'm gonna go in a minute. I'm not gonna bring the phone in with me. I'm just gonna leave it here in the car just so I can. Well, here I'll tell you when we get there. Yeah. Okay. For those just tuning in, we just left the Beverly Hills Courthouse about 45 minutes ago. Tomorrow is the date that they're going to set the trial date. Not the trial, just setting the date. Tomorrow in Beverly Hills, I'll be there all morning. We'll be on Facebook Live starting at 6 in the morning. But today's about Forest Lawn. So let's start. Let's go this way. If you guys come in that have never been here, you just come to that fork, and if you go down the hill, you can go that way, or if you come up the hill, just you'll see this here in the center, and just fork over here to the right. So hey, a car. How about that? Okay. So let me see who this is. So the reason we're doing this is, I've been driving since 5 o'clock this morning. Okay. Here's our new Facebook page. Don't tell me I can't do it when I'm on live. Oh, maybe I can't switch pages? No. Hold on. That can't be possible. Can that be possible? No. Okay, here we go. So, here's the new page. Forest Lawn Flowers for Michael Jackson. Okay? The whole purpose was, it's depressing when you come here and there's no flowers for Michael. So we're going to start. If you just go to that page and you'll read the post here. Okay. There we go. This will be the calendar, and sign up to leave flowers for Michael. If you're planning on visiting Forest Lawn, please leave your name and the date you plan to visit. We will also be set up to have flowers delivered outside Holly Terrace. That's what I'm going to be doing right now, if nobody is available. People that live in California, we need your help and support. Please take a picture of the flowers you bring and post it on this page. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so here's the schedule, okay? So starting this week, of course, I'm going to be here. Okay, so we have March 3rd taken care of. I'm going to be back for June 25th. We'll do our flowers from the group. Be back for Michael's birthday, August 29th. Okay. So on and so forth. So, let me walk up in here. Oh. So remember Valentine's Day, right? Which was just 2 weeks ago, right? So we had all the flowers here from the Valentine's group and stuff. Right? But see what happens when you come here, right? So fortunately, our friend Betsy Maddox came yesterday and left this here. We thank you, Bets. These flowers are here. I don't know if those were for Michael or not. So one of the things I was going to do is see if we can have if we could leave a bucket there with a picture of Michael kind of laminated or taped to the bucket. So the person that comes each week can put the flowers in there, take a picture. Oh, you left them by the front door. Yeah. Well, yeah, see, that's another problem. Well, all right, I don't want to. It's kind of a delicate situation. We have to be nice. We have to work with them. For those coming here, not everybody knows about this, but if you look at it close, so yeah, so February 14th, actually it was 2 weeks ago today, February 13th, civilly came and put up the flowers. Some flowers were delivered, and then we did our flowers Wednesday morning, Valentine's Day. And then, as always, this is our little spot back here, which I'm going to talk to her about. Giving tree, Michael's window. Yeah, hang on, Maria. I'll explain everything in a minute. You guys just kind of hang with me a few minutes. Let's see what we got here. Okay, beautiful. See? This is nice. Okay. These were our flowers. Looks like a lot of water. I guess it rained. I'll take care of that in the middle, but okay, and then of course we did our little tribute. We did our tribute to Melanie Freeman. So I put her picture up here, but you know, between the rain and the sprinklers, I'll try to adjust it tomorrow again. So yeah, Neelam, if you're watching, and of course we're right outside Michael's window. So for those that have been with me, so we, whenever I say I, it's we, okay? We had a nice plaque made for Michael that we screwed in the wood here. And not knowing if it was going to last, I made another plaque, a way less expensive one. And after I logged off, we I switched the plaque. So I took the good one and I left the bad one in there. It stayed for a couple months and then they took it away. So it's a delicate situation. I thought the estate, like I went to get permission from the estate if we could leave a plaque or something. And John Branca said, yeah, sounds like a good idea, but you have to ask no, first I asked Forest Lawn. Forest Lawn said ask the estate, and then the estate said you have to talk to the family. And when I said who in the family, we didn't really have an answer. So I don't know who the family is. They have to make the decision, and evidently, you know, they choose to not have anything. So we can't really have anything affixed to the walls, even though I taped a picture of Melanie there just to do the little tribute. But notice how our flowers are still here, right? But the ones up front, and Betsy just brought flowers yesterday, the ones I showed you, and they moved them from the front door to the side there. So, I mean, this is really, I mean, I would love to have this, like this should be for us. It's not bothering anybody. It's out of the way. We'll have someone come, we'll rake it, we'll clean it, we'll do it, you know, we'll keep it nice, like, so that's what I'm gonna, so, here, so I set up this here, comment, boom, clipboard. Oh wow! All right, I have to do it on this phone. All right, we're gonna have to wait until I log off. I have to go. Wait a minute. Let me see. Yeah, I set it up. The link's on the phone that I'm on, so I can't. I don't think I could share the. All right, wait. Let me see. Encountered an error. Hold on a second. Yeah, look, I know, Laura. 680516. Okay, I'm going to post the link right after I get out of the florist, but this is what it's going to look like here. Okay. It's going to look like that. Okay, so we're going to have a separate page that's just going to be used for the flowers. Okay, we have the other GoFundMe going on for Bubbles. All right, so for the weeks where no one's coming, or we could do multiple, if you want to do one a week, we could. Hold on a second. Security guys out here. Let me just get out here for a second. Okay. So we're gonna have it set up that I'm gonna give them my credit card, and then if we order by 12 o'clock in the afternoon, they'll have it here the same day. So there should always be flowers up there. That's the whole point. I'm going to try to see if we can have one picture, that's all, just one picture of Michael in the bucket, like outside of the bucket with the water in the bucket, and then the people that come will bring their flowers in there. Yeah, I mean, it would be really nice if I could somehow talk her into bringing the flowers that we order from them there. Would be nice. See, so These got left for 2 weeks. Now I don't know if it's because, I mean, they still look good, so it's not like it's not like it's an eyesore. There's no set time when they take stuff away. If you order like on June 25th or Michael's birthday or any holiday, whatever you order from Forest Lawn, they bring underneath the Holly Terrace sign, they take a picture of it, and then that goes inside by Michael's sarcophagus. That goes inside. Anything else that's outside gets thrown out in just a matter of days. We don't know how many days. Okay, as you can see, the stuff from Valentine's Day is all gone, but our stuff from Valentine's Day is still there. So I'm going to ask her if we can kind of work kind of a deal where we're going to be their customer. Listen, no one generates more money through Forest Lawn than Michael Jackson fans. What Michael Jackson fans spend throughout the year. Okay, so it's in their best interest to kind of work with us. Unfortunately, we don't have the family's, blessing, I guess, for lack of a better word. I don't know if that's the right word, but we don't have the family's okay, say. Hey, Michael Bush. But that's our goal, is to always have flowers here. Always have flowers here for Michael. I told a story, the little girl that was here last week, Valentine's week, and she was here for the first time. She had on her fedora, her little white socks and black shoes, and she was posing on her toes, and there was nothing here of Michael. So I had to go in my car. I gave her a couple of the lanyards we had for the birthday. I gave her a picture of Michael. But like for someone coming here, see, there's a bunch of people up there. I don't know if it's fans or not. See, like it could be fans for the first time, and it's like it's depressing, when there's nothing here except on holidays. So, once again, that was from yesterday. Betsy. But so when you order through Forest Lawn, they take a picture right here under the sign, and then they mail it, and then they send it to you. So we're going to ask them if they could keep them out here at least, or I'm going to try to convince them to let us use the back. So I'm going to head down there now. I'm going to leave the car and the phone for maybe 5 minutes. Then I'll come in and I will show you. We'll take, the least expensive thing was $16 for a bouquet of flowers. They charge $5 to deliver it, and they charge $5 to take a picture of it. Okay, but there's some nice pieces in there, but they kind of get a little expensive. But we're going to use the money that we have in the account. Okay, once again, if you guys just watching, okay, we're at 1,600 signatures. That's nowhere what I was hoping. More on that tomorrow after the trial. Okay. Elizabeth Taylor, it's her birthday. Really? Okay, I didn't know that. Hang on a second. All right, so Elizabeth Taylor's in this building right here to the left. Yeah, I mean, it's really, you know, look, it's sad enough to come here. On the times when I go inside and there isn't anything by the sarcophagus, that's like even sadder. But to not have something outside. So I'm going to ask her if we could kind of take over this little spot that we used to have for a while. And maybe if we leave it there, Bets, where we're not blocking the door, or it's not anything, you know, I mean, there are other people inside. They don't get a lot of visitors, but Elizabeth Taylor, okay. The only thing is, you know, you cannot bring flowers for Elizabeth Taylor. That's another problem. They do not let, she doesn't have a spot. Let me put the window up. Elizabeth Taylor's right up front when you walk through. Is Michael Bush still out there by any chance? Michael Bush, if you're there, you want me to go up top? You'll know what I'm saying. Just, you know, because you were watching, and a lot of people don't know. Okay, so I'm gonna make a U-turn. I don't want to walk in with the phone. Okay, I don't want to intimidate them. They'll put him at Elizabeth's grave. Okay, that'll be our first purchase then today. All right. You know what, Bets? Let me ask her. Yeah. Let me ask the lady. Okay, so the florist shop's right here. You guys, you want me to play? You want me to play more of the Mesereau interview? You want just quiet? I don't want to play music because we might get blocked, or you guys just want to talk amongst each other? I hate to leave you with silence, but here, you'll see me walking in, right there. You want to hear something? Words only? Anybody? You can chat. Wendy Chow, you want to? Yeah, I mean, I can't resist. All right. I don't want to risk it. You guys can chat? Okay, Wendy, you run the chat. I will do our best. Give me about maybe 7 minutes. All right? I'll be right back. Are we still there? All right, everybody. Okay. All right. You know, it's always iffy. They normally don't let flowers in there for Elizabeth Taylor. I told her it was her birthday. She said you could talk to the security person. I don't want to bring the phone in again, but let's see. Was Michael? Is Bush still on there? Did he respond by any chance? Anybody, Crystal, Wendy, while he was in there? All right, so they have three different arrangements. A $16, a $20. I took a picture of it, so I'll show you when we get up there. Hold on a second. No response. Okay. All right. I don't want to say then what I would have said. Yeah, there's a lot of cars. There must be a service. Going on. She was, you know, not so friendly, kind of as usual. But let me see who's working here. I don't want to bring the phone because I don't want the phone. That'll be obvious. So let me see if I can turn it. What's that facing? Can you guys see the? I think it's right there. All right. Okay, you guys. Let's see what we got here. Happy birthday, Elizabeth. Thank you for being there for Michael. It's kind of hard to see her name. It's really hard. It's really hard to, to see her name. But she is right straight. When you walk right straight through, you'll see the big. You'll see that. Yeah. So that came from Forest Lawn for sure. That's their kind of their banner that are, yeah, I mean, thank you for guys. Thanks for reminding me. I had so much going on that I did.
And so did for gold and
Well, you know, you can't. Look where we just came from, right? And look, and look where we are now, right? We go from a courthouse to Elizabeth Taylor's gravesite, right? What can you say? So, I have it in the. I actually have it in the. I have it in the car with me. Whoever said that, Elizabeth or Judy or somebody. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tomorrow, let me sleep on it. You guys have anything for those just joining? The first part of this was at the Beverly Hills Courthouse. I was at. Yeah, Laura, we can't plan anything here. We're lucky to leave a. Okay, so I said, all we want to have is one bucket. We'll put one picture of Michael. It'll be laminated. We can put the fresh flowers in the bucket and take the old flowers out each time we come. She goes, yeah, we really can't do that. I said, why can't I says, where do you put the flowers? She goes, well, we usually leave them on the floor. I said, oh, that's probably why they don't, last for it. I'm trying to be nice, but I mean, you know me, tomorrow's going to be a crazy day. And today was a little bizarre. So, it seems crazy that we can't leave a bucket, right? I mean, a bucket with a picture, so I asked her about the back and she says, no, I don't have any authority over what goes on there. So, I'm not really friends with the maintenance guys. I'm friends with the guy that works inside Holly Terrace. So he kind of tells me what's going on there, but he doesn't have any say. So, like I said, I saw Civilly out here a few days ago. I don't know, did somebody see when she posted the flowers were still there? It's literally been 14 days from today. So they weren't there. When did you come, Betsy? Today or yesterday? I forgot. No, it had to be yesterday. So they weren't there. Shirley, when you come to town, God, will that be funny? Oh my God, I will need. Is Wendy out there? Yesterday, okay. I don't know if Civilly's out there, but our flowers in the back are still there. So there's no set thing to this, unfortunately. So all right, so I'm gonna post a link, okay, and then each week we'll do. Okay, here I took a couple pictures of what they have. So this is what they don't really have a lot. These are the $20 bundles. And these are inside the cooler. These are $30. So it's basically a dozen. It's basically a dozen red rose. Put them in the back and forget about the front. Yeah, but see, Bets, it's good for us as a group, right? But how about the person that comes for the first time that doesn't know about the back? I mean, I know what you're saying. Yeah. But they're not going to deliver. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I'm sorry. They don't deliver to the back. So, we'll have to think about it. Well, I mean, tomorrow, when the judge gives the trial, I might be out here a couple months. So if we're out here a couple months, I'll be here every day in the morning on my way to that, courthouse. Although it's probably not going to be Beverly Hills, but yeah. So we don't have to. Yeah, we may not have to worry about that. But I don't know. It may not be until the summer. Blah blah blah. But I know, Crystal. There should always be. I said, well, just one picture, one. But there's other people in there, I guess. if you ride around here, which I do, you don't see a lot of flowers lasting a long time. It seems like they cut the lawn like every day. I don't know if they cut around them or if they just pick them up on a certain day. Like maybe on the holidays, like Christmas and stuff, they'll have a date where they'll say all flowers will be removed by a certain date. I think that's Valentine. I think it's Christmas, Easter, and some other. That Saints. What was that thing I stumbled on, Crystal, that time? The living the so I had the mariachi bands and the it was like a big fiesta up there. All Saints, something around Halloween. I can't forget the name. All right. Anyway, so I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. We have our flowers for this week. Okay, so we're good. I'm leaving Thursday again to go back. The Day of the Dead. That was it. Yeah. For some reason, I remember seeing a sign that the flowers would be out for a while. So, but other than those two holidays, I think it's just random. She said when they start to wilt. Well, of course they're going to wilt. You know, the sun is always hitting them, and they're not in water, so of course they're not going to last long. But it's for the fans that come for the first time that see nothing here. That's kind of the whole point. All right, you guys have anything? Get ready tomorrow. You see Tom Mesereau walking in. That's going to be something. That's yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we could do. See, they don't really have a range. We could call other florists, but I was trying to have a working relationship with them, thinking that it's in their best interest to be nice to us, that we would order. But all right, we'll try it out, for a couple weeks and see what happens. So, tomorrow's the day. They will set the date for the trial and rule on the motions to change of venue. I guess it's kind of good if it's not. I mean, I'm hoping it's not in downtown LA. That'll be a nightmare. But Beverly Hills is kind of far from Forest Lawn, so it's we'll kind of see how it goes. I'll play some videos for those that are younger people that didn't live through all this stuff. We'll just kind of relive it again. We'll hear facts from Tom Mesereau and Susan Yu, and I will report out the minute I walk out of the courthouse. I'll log on live. No music, so we don't get blocked. No cell phones in the courtroom. No recording devices, of course. So 6 a.m. Pacific. 6 a.m. in the morning Pacific time. We'll start. Could any people... surely it's a real... obviously, it's their choice not to do anything. Doing a live beforehand. Yes, 6 in the morning, Shirley. Early Shirley, you have no shot. Shirley has no shot at the 6. You'll be lucky to catch us at noon. Shirley, you catch it on the replay. There's no chance Shirley's up at 6. All right. Everybody sleep good. 3 p.m. in Europe, 2 p.m. in England. Okay, yeah. Good for Europe. 9 o'clock in New York, the East Coast people. You'll be here 9 a.m. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Roberta, you're not an early bird either. Yeah, you guys are not. The California people are not early. Betsy's good. A lot of them are not early birds. It is a fashionably late laid back pay. East Coast, where if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. Like, I'm 2 hours early, but okay, that's a little crazy. Wendy, you're good. Wendy always answers the bell. Wendy can stay out till 4 o'clock. I tell her I pick her up at 6:30. She's out there. So, yeah, Wendy's good. 6 a.m. Pasadena, Roberta. I think it's still dark at 6, right? I think it's still dark by 6. Yeah. Yeah, for the East Coast, it's good. 9 o'clock. Krista Lee, we're always up. Yes. We don't need to sleep. Liz was late for her funeral. Okay. 2 clocks. Yeah. Once again, we'll talk about this, a little as we... Oh, my God. It's dark at 6. Okay. We're going to work on this. Hey, Megan. Yeah, Megan, you're up late. I always see you up late. And then next Wednesday, I go to Florida. Next Thursday, the Jacksons live in concert in Tampa. And then 2 weeks after that is Bubbles. They haven't set Bubbles' birthday date yet, so we haven't really done anything. I have a list of stuff. We just have to do one thing at a time. It's getting, overwhelming. We got the statue. I haven't even talked about the statue. So once we get through tomorrow, we'll have a date that the trial's going to be. Then I have to find some crazy apartment or room in this town. That's going to be a nightmare. But we'll see. All right, final call. Anybody? Some silk flowers. They will never wilt. Betsy, yeah. Wow, they will never wilt. How would they get around that? Where would we put him, though? No, yeah. See, we don't want to use a vase. I don't think there's a good answer, really, to this. Unfortunately. I mean, if I lived here, that would be the answer, but I don't know. If I could move Bubbles out here, like me and Bubbles could find a place out here, then I would think about it, for sure. But, all right. Yeah, we need some rest. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, then I'll go into Courthouse, and then just randomly check. There was no end time. Like they didn't have a blocked out. They didn't have blocked out. I just found out the judge, the courtroom, and all that stuff, and I actually spoke to the bailiff, who's going to be the bailiff, so that's good. The security guy, I made friends with the parking lot attendant. He's coming in early to let me in. Move Bubbles. No, Bubbles, let me tell you something. Bubbles is so happy down there. Bubbles doesn't... there's no better place for him. I mean, really. He's with all his friends. I was trying to find... I can never find things. All right. I will save it for tomorrow. All right, yeah, bye for now. I'm going to post a link to the flowers as soon as I hang up, and then we'll talk about it. Like maybe we can have a note or something from each, or like maybe we could rotate the countries. Maybe that's an idea. Like we'll kind of work around the globe. Whoever does that. Yeah. Hey, Sherry, it's a badge of honor. I know. I was trying to find the bubble spit. I don't know where. I mean, hang on. I should know where. The bubble spit. One of the highlights. One of the true highlights of my life. I can't find it. All right, we'll work on it tomorrow. All right, goodbye, you guys, for now. Thanks, everybody, for hanging in there. It was a long day, and we'll get ready for a long day tomorrow. Well, I don't know if it's going to be a long day tomorrow. I don't think it's going to be that long. But it'd be fun just to watch Tom Mesereau in action. Boy, that is, Michael's the king of pop. To me, he's the king of law. I mean, for sure. Just a stoic, unflappable. I would love to see the reaction of the two actors because the estate had a previous legal team before this, as did the actors had a different legal team, thinking they were going to settle. Right? Thank God they didn't. We want this trial because we didn't want them to settle. So that's how we have to look at this. Like, yeah, it's crazy we have to go through it, but a settlement would have been the worst of the worst. So they were obviously counting on that. Once again, you can't defame a deceased person. So one of our crazy laws is you can say anything you want. Somehow it got overturned. Look, there's money in the legal system, right? It's a waste of taxpayers' money, but scissor in a salad bar. Betsy Maddox, you got that right. I got one of these for the hotel room. Sizzler salad bar is a good idea. Okay, yeah. We're heading to Sizzler. All right, you guys. See everyone tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.